If one of your New Year's resolutions is to start baking bread for your family, I gotcha. This is a super easy recipe for beginners. It's a same day bread, so I'm starting it, it is 11:30. I'm starting it right now, and we are gonna have fresh bread for dinner. 3 cups of flour. I've had it measured out already. Fast acting yeast, a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Looks good. Sprinkle that in. 1 teaspoon of salt. That'll just give it some flavor. I have a dough whisk. You don't need a dough whisk. You can use a fork. You can use a spatula. Do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to use my dough whisk since I have one. So stir that up. Get it kind of mixed up in there. 1.5 cups of hot water. Just go right in there. It's going to form like a shaggy dough, they call it. It's look really good. It's coming together. I'm going to scrape it down a little bit more. Okay, so now that I've got it all mixed together, I'm just going to put some plastic wrap over the top of it. Gonna sit on your countertop for at least 3 hours, but you can let it go longer. My house is pretty cold in the wintertime. Here in the Midwest, it just gets cold. So my countertops aren't the warmest, so I'm probably gonna let this go a little bit longer. I'm gonna do more like 4 or 5 hours. This is what my dough looks like. I actually let mine go for about 4.5 hours. See, it's kind of jiggly, and then you can kind of see these little air bubbles on the side. That means it is nice and fluffy and light and ready to go. Flour a cutting board here so I can spread it out. I'm gonna get it right out of here. Floury fingers to help me pull it out of there. It's gonna be a little sticky, but that's okay. I'm just gonna sprinkle some flour on top of there, maybe a couple tablespoons, and really you just have to kind of fold it over onto itself just so you can kind of work with it. And like that. Then we're just gonna flip it over. See how easy that was? That's it. That's all you have to do for this. There's no other work besides that. Inside this glass bowl, I'm just putting down some parchment paper. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour in there just so that it doesn't stick to that. And then I'm going to plop this right in there. While my oven heats up, that's just gonna rest inside that bowl. Preheat my oven to 500. Stick this in there while it warms up, so that way this is nice and hot and ready to go. My oven is preheated to 500. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my Dutch oven out of the oven and get my bread loaded into it. Before I put it back in the oven, I'm gonna lower my temp to 450. Pop it into your pan, pop it in the oven for 30 minutes. At the end of those 30 minutes, we are gonna pull it out and take the lid off, and then we're gonna bake it for about 10 more minutes with the lid off to let it brown up and crisp up. Timer just went off, my bread's ready to get out of the oven. Ooh, it's looking so good so far. I'm gonna stick this back into the oven. I'm gonna put it in for about 10 or 15 minutes and check on it and see how it's doing. That's the final product. You're not supposed to cut into bread when it's hot, but I'm gonna cut into this bad boy right away. Ooh, I ripped it. Too hot. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be so good. Nothing better than this.